guys, Jessica Kubasi here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to take pictures in basic and boring locations and how to make them look cool. Look, you guys, I'm from Michigan. We don't got that much here. And everything that we have is taken by a flood, tree falls on it, something goes up in flames. Basically, we can't have nice things here. So usually I just have to really make the best of what I have. And I know I'm always saying this, but truly, if you lived here, you would really understand the literal sense in which I'm speaking. Everyone from Europe is probably thinking, what? You don't have a castle? You don't have mountains? It's all flat here, you guys. Even in this video, the light from the sun comes in and out. Like, the sun doesn't even know if it wants to be here, okay? And it goes everywhere. I guess the point I'm trying to make is not everyone has access to a super nice location. Some of us just have whatever's outside, our neighborhood, or maybe a park, or maybe a bench. So I went ahead and I went to a really basic park and I took some models there and I started taking some pictures to show you guys that sometimes you don't need a super nice location to get great pictures. So here are my tips and tricks for taking pictures in boring locations. Let's say you're at a park and there's this median and there's cars everywhere, there's people walking back and forth. You're probably thinking, I can't really shoot here. So I think the first thing is you kind of have to train your eye to see nice areas in unconventional places that don't really look that nice. And it might be really hard if you're not used to it. Especially if you're shooting portraits, a small section of something will be perfect. You don't have to have, the whole location doesn't have to be filled with flowers and confetti and an elephant in the back. It doesn't have to be super fancy and nice. If you have one small section that has nice flowers in the back or nice textured wall, that's all you need. So I took two models to the park and there was a median right before this parking lot. And you would never have thought to shoot there, but I saw some really nice flowers. So I told the model, just go sit in there and let's get some really nice shots. So you can see I had her just sitting literally in the midst of all these flowers. And if you were to look at a wide shot of this landscape, you'd probably never have guessed that I shot it there. So again, this is an example of finding beauty in an unconventional spot. And also we had to make sure that we didn't get hit by a car because there were cars passing by. So here's what you will need to get the best out of your locations. First things first, you're going to need a prime lens. I find this works best, especially if you are shooting portraits. You can focus more on the model and it creates a nice blur in the background, which again, I think is really nice for portraits, especially if your location is not ideal. So you want a lens with a large aperture. So again, if you're shooting with a prime lens, f1.2 or f1.4 will do the trick. You could even do f1.8. A really large aperture will give you a shallow depth of field and it will make the photo look lovely. So for these types of photos, I would usually use the 51.2. I think it works amazing with portraits like this. It really can transform a picture and I just love using it for portraits. Another thing you want to make sure of is note the distance between you and the model in the background. To demonstrate this, I had a model standing next to this plant right next to it, so she was kind of like touching it, and then gradually I had her take a couple steps towards me just so you can see how the portrait changes, how the bokeh in the background changes as she distances herself from the background. So I think that's something that's very important to know. If you want a lot of bokeh, just have the model a greater distance than whatever background. So I'll show you two photos, one that was taken closer to the background and one that was taken further away, so you guys get the idea. Also, you want to watch things like lighting and the angles, especially if you are shooting at 1.2. You know, the model turns her face a little bit and you're shooting straight on, you might not get a portion of her face in focus. So focus on the eyes and again, make sure there's a considerable distance between you and the model so that you can have really nice, sharp photos at f1.2. Another thing you could do to spice up your portraits is use dynamic poses. So again, if you have a model and a really basic location, literally throwing up some arms or making something really dynamic with the shape of the body will make your photo a lot more interesting. And that goes for the outfit and the makeup and the styling as well. I mean, if you have something that is a little bit more plain in terms of your background, spicing up an outfit, adding color to your outfit and texture will really make your photo pop out more and make it more interesting. And sometimes it's really not all about the location, but more about the model herself. I think people kind of get carried away by finding a really nice location when sometimes all you need is a good model and some nice poses. I think something that is just important to note is to not look at everything at face value. Really look at things in terms of, okay, well, how can I turn this into something really nice in my vision? I took one of the models into a field. It's just a field of like really tall grass, and I just had her lay in it. And just by how she was posing, I think the photo came out really nice. And again, this is somewhere, a location you can find pretty much anywhere you're at. Once you kind of get the hang of making anything look great and look cool, you can go literally anywhere. And I think that will really help you as a photographer. Don't depend on the location to make your shot, because if that's what you're depending on, it's only going to get you so far. And I think this demonstrates that you don't always need a super fancy location. You can depend on the poses, the model, styling, and stuff like that to really carry out your image the way that you want it. God knows I can't depend on location living here. It is what it is for me. Like, I gotta take pictures next to the dumpster. It's okay. I found a good section of it to photograph. And also, you should just take it as a challenge. I think it's fun. I find it fun going somewhere where people are like, no, you can't really shoot there, and just making it look amazing and surprising people. I love surprises. Who doesn't love surprises? Okay, I can think of a couple that wouldn't be very nice. I'll show you guys some other photos I took at this park. We had the models sitting on a picnic table. I had them just walking along some trails. Really nothing too crazy, and I still think we got some really nice shots. So those are just some of my tips on how to photograph in boring locations. I really hope that this was helpful. Leave your comments and thoughts down below, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.